There is a powerful cultural mythology around starting a business. We hear the stories of working in pajamas, effortless financial freedom, and the belief that all it takes is a brilliant idea and the courage to take the leap. But the data tells a different story. Between 80 and 90% of new businesses fail within their first few years. The promises of easy money and products that sell themselves are statistical illusions. Believing these myths carries a cost. When founders buy into the hype, they skip the planning phase. They rely on gut feelings instead of concrete data, making hasty, emotionally driven decisions that drain their bank accounts before they even reach the market. You don't need a massive injection of capital to get started. Many durable companies begin in a garage, running on a shoestring budget. These low-cost beginnings actually force you to be disciplined with every dollar. And when things go wrong early on, it is a required step in the process, not a signal to quit. Industrialists like Soichiro Honda built their empires by recognizing that success is only achieved through repeated failure and introspection. Surviving that initial failure curve requires stripping away the toxic positivity of hustle culture. You have to replace it with strict operational, financial, and psychological frameworks. Passion-driven chaos will bankrupt you. Long-term survival requires exchanging the glamorous dream for unglamorous, disciplined execution. The moment you have a product idea, the immediate temptation is to start selling. Formal business planning feels like a barrier keeping you from real work. You might save a few weeks of paperwork by skipping the setup phase, but you risk losing years of your life to a venture that is structurally flawed from day one. A proper administrative foundation is your only safety net. You have to establish strict legal dividing lines to separate your personal assets from your business liability to protect yourself if the company goes under. This chart maps out a fatal misunderstanding for new founders. Profit is the green line. It's an accounting term. Cash flow is the red line. It represents the actual liquid money available in your bank account right now. A business can be profitable on paper, but still face bankruptcy. If customers take 60 days to pay their invoices and your rent is due today, your liquid cash runs out. You cannot pay your staff with a profit percentage. Even established giants fall victim to this. In the late 1990s, the Daewoo Group, one of the largest conglomerates in the world, collapsed because it couldn't meet its payment obligations while waiting for its investments to pay off. Cash is oxygen. Without obsessively tracking your daily inflows and outflows, your business will suffocate before it ever has a chance to grow. Many founders launch with a fatal assumption. They believe everyone in the market is a potential customer for their product. You have to execute rigorous market research before you spend capital. That means analyzing demographics, running pilot studies, and actively hunting for a highly specific, unfilled customer need. This is an uncomfortable process. It forces you to look objectively at your favorite ideas, and if the research shows no actual market demand, you have to kill the idea quickly before it wastes your money. You also have to study your competitors intimately. You figure out why customers shop there, what they do well, and more importantly, where their service fails. Finding that fit takes time. James Dyson produced over 5,000 prototypes before landing on a bagless vacuum cleaner that actually met a customer's requirements. Executing uncomfortable conversations and running relentless pilot studies is the only reliable way to ensure a customer will actually pay for the product you want to sell. Once you find that product market fit and prove there's a profitable niche, you won't be alone for long. Success attracts the attention of corporate giants who have the budgets and the brand recognition to dominate the industry. Look at this chart. If you try to compete with these giants by lowering your prices, your profit margin rapidly vanishes. A corporation can benefit from economies of scale that you don't have. Slashing your prices destroys your liquid cash reserves and leaves you with no leverage to collect the payments you need to survive. The alternative playbook is to abandon mass market scale entirely. You dominate a hyper-specific niche. You provide superior know-how and a level of personalized service that minimum wage employees at a retail chain simply cannot deliver. Small businesses must never play the Goliath's game. Trade mass market scale for agility and fierce customer loyalty, and you earn your place in the market. The external threats are dangerous, but the internal threat is often fatal. When a founder attempts to wear every hat indefinitely, psychological burnout is inevitable. Eventually, you hit the pain line. This is the operational threshold where the company's growth creates a level of complexity and chaos that one person can no longer oversee. When founders hit this line, they often subconsciously self-sabotage. They make unnecessarily dramatic decisions like changing markets or redesigning websites just to halt the company's growth and return the business to a size they can safely control. Surviving the pain line requires extreme emotional intelligence. You have to separate your personal self-worth from the daily performance of the business. You also have to implement the 80% rule. You stop aiming for absolute perfection, and you accept 80% execution from your team. Employees will likely never care as much as you do because it isn't their money on the line. You have to accept lower expectations in order to buy back your own time. If you refuse to delegate, succeeding too quickly becomes its own danger. Rapid orders without a back-end infrastructure will lead to a supply chain collapse and a customer service crisis. To achieve sustainable scale, you must throttle your ego. Accept imperfect delegation, step away from doing the daily work, and start leading the system. Business success is not about avoiding chaos. It is about building an administrative and psychological plan robust enough to survive the chaos. This decision matrix will determine your next steps based on your current reality. Look closely at where you stand today. If you are the dreamer, someone seeking a stress-free lifestyle or an immediate income replacement, the massive upfront risk and administrative grind will overwhelm you. Keep your 9-to-5 job. If you are the overwhelmed founder, working harder is no longer a viable strategy. Transition immediately to tracking cash flow instead of profit. Accept 80% perfection and delegate your daily tasks. If you are the underdog fighting massive competitors, stop fighting on price. Pivot entirely to niche dominance, where your agility and specialized knowledge are your edge. The journey requires intense passion and stubborn perseverance. You must love the work enough to endure the setbacks built into the process. Entrepreneurship is a measurable system, not a gamble. If you pay the high upfront costs of planning and the psychological price of delegation, you earn the right to steer your own future.